This is the last clip, and this is part 2 of the recap of the Valdosta City School Board of Education on February 11, 2013. And once again, I asked the citizens here in Valdosta, Moody Air Force Base, Kinderloo Golf Course, Francis Lake, Wild Adventures Theme Park, Georgia Military College, as well as Wiregrass Technical College, and many other fine institutions and businesses here in Valdosta. What do you know about this meeting? Was this meeting covered by any South Georgia news media network? And if not, then how would the people who voted these people into office know what took place at this meeting? And we're not here to criticize anyone. We just want you to understand St. John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set and make you free. And look at Minister Floyd E. Rose, one minister in this community who took a stand while all the other ministers, I guess, they are at Bible study. But let's listen to the questions that the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference asked these elected officials that was voted into office by the people. Listen, please.
First of all, I want to express my appreciation for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I have some questions that I want to ask, and I hope that they will be answered tonight.
Brother, keep in mind this is a one-way street tonight by policy. We will get you.
The chairman just informed the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference that this is a one-way street, and that they will have to get back with him. They can't answer any of his questions at this public meeting. That he said that it is against policy for them to answer this citizens and voter questions. And so, and he's trying to make that clear to Reverend Rose, and we hope that Reverend Rose understand that he's saying to him that he cannot answer any questions, and that it is according to policy that he cannot answer any of these questions at this time. But don't let me try to interpret what he said. Listen, please.
Answers to your question. So I have some questions on that. Question number 1, have you all already decided who the next superintendent will be? So there is no answer to what you're saying?
That is correct, sir.
Was it important for your next superintendent to have a PhD?
The question was it important or required that the next superintendent have a PhD? That was a question that could not be answered at this public meeting with 57 to 60 people present.
No answer to that.
That is correct, sir.
It is my recollection that following the retirement of Mr. Sam Allen, this board made a decision that the next superintendent would have to have a PhD. Somewhere back in my mind, I remember something that was decided to that effect. Third question: how was the final candidate selected?
How were the final candidates selected? He asked that question. And again, there was no answer to that question. And sorry for interrupting. Let's listen. But I want you to understand that it seems as if though there's a serious problem when it comes down to voters and citizens getting answers from their elected officials. And too often they never get back with you. I can almost assure you that there will be no answer that will be sent back to Minister Rose to all of these questions. I just don't believe it. But let's continue with this process.
Did the Georgia Board of Education Association play in the selection process? Your answer, I'm assuming that there will be no answer to that. Is that right?
That is correct, sir.
Now, will I get an answer to these questions?
I will tell you this, Brother Wood. I'll personally look into it with legal counsel, and we will answer everything we legally can. But this is a personnel matter, and I won't give you an answer as to what I want tonight, because I'm not getting in trouble for that.
Okay, well, I understand that, but now I'm sure you know that I already know that before someone is hired, there is no legal problem with the personnel. I'm sure you know I know. When will the final candidate be announced? You can't tell me that either. Is that right?
Can't really respond to you at this point in time.
Once again, he just asked when. You heard it. Isn't that something? You know, it seems like somebody would want to answer the general public. It's kind of it may be a sticky a question, or may well, you know, it's something strange here. But I've read the pamphlet by the Attorney General, Georgia Attorney General, and I think that every citizen here in Valdosta needs to read that pamphlet about Georgia law. Let us continue. I'm sorry.
If you'd like to stick around after the meeting, be glad to have a conversation with you.
Well,
Why can't we discuss?
why can't they know?
They certainly can, as soon as the
So when the meeting is over, then, well, you want me to just wait?
You can do what you like to, sir.
Did you hear someone in the audience ask the question, why can't we hear the answer tonight? So it's not just Minister Rose, it's not just the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. There were many people in attendance who saying, why can't these questions be answered at a public meeting in Valdosta, Loudoun County, and the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America? Wow. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Wouldn't you say?
No, I just want to be clear. So are you saying that
That particular question, I'll be glad to give you the answer that I have at this point.
I want to get all my questions on the record. When will the final candidate be announced? How much weight will be given to the citizens' input during the 14-day waiting period? And what form will that input take? Will it be letters, emails, open forums? What? Will the results be a part of your decision as required, I understand, by law? And will the public be made aware of the citizens' input?
Now we must understand something else as well. It has been brought up to this particular board over 3 to 7 years how only 105.9 and 92.1 FM, which most of the conservative radio stations, I listen to all stations, and I mostly stay focused on 105.9 because that's what I do. But what about the majority of people that lives in the city who don't listen to these radio stations? And it had been brought up by professors at Valdosta State University that they believe that these meetings should be publicized on television. And since we do have a local television station that the city seemed to put everything else on, that these meetings, especially city council meeting, could just simply be posted and televised, so we wouldn't have to be there with cameras, nor would the citizens in Valdosta be left deaf, dumb, and blind to the times. And it's kind of strange what's going on here in this city that provide, or the county that gives way to Moody Air Force Base, a federal installation, and the people at even Moody, and I focus on Moody because these people put their lives on the line to defend foreign nations and to ensure that they have rights and open government. But here in the United States of America, it seems as if our rights are being lost in the cosmos. Let's get back to the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the organization that Martin Luther King and Joseph Lowery co-founded, and is for the betterment of our beloved state and nation. Listen, please.
You can't answer that if I'm When will the next superintendent take office? You can't.
They couldn't even answer when the next superintendent will take office, or approximate, or something. The people in the audience are shaking their heads. I should have put the camera on them, and I may have for us over. But listen, and then not to see anything about this in the South Georgia news media outlet. This was not even human worthy enough to even be given to the general public. And so, what do you all think about that? Why does these big time bishops and imams in Islam and rabbis, why are they so quiet? Listen, please.
I've got that one. That's what we hope to determine. We discuss if you so choose after this, and whomever else would like to hear the answer.
Okay. Were credit and criminal background check completed on all of the candidates? I'll give you a copy of all of these.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be.
I want it for the record.
Reverend Rose just said that he would give each one of them a copy of the question that he had, because he wanted it to be a matter of record. And so he just made that clear to them, and it is what it is. As like I said, 57 to 60 or 65 people was present. We know there was at 57, but I couldn't count the ones outside. And so, but listen, please.
Was teacher staff input solicited during the process, during the selection process? And finally, will the 3 finalists be presented to the community prior to the board's final vote, and how will that be done? I want to make a comment on something that Ms. touched on. I know that
now he just referenced what President of the NAACP, Lee Touchton, a comment that she had made. But see, because we don't have a news media outlet, you don't know nothing about what Lee Touchton said. Lee Touchton is a white lady who made history by being the first female in the United States of America to serve as president of the NAACP. And it just so happened that that took place in Valdosta, Loudoun County, and the state of Georgia. But what do you know about that? It may be because we don't have newspapers like America's Georgia. America's got 47 newspapers over there. How many we have? 1. And it's so conservative until it apparently is serving the needs of some, but the majority need to write Atlanta or Omaha, Nebraska or Chicago and try to get some more newspapers in here so they can give us, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. But until then, there's about 5 people operating cameras, and now they're on YouTube, and I believe the job going to get done, so we won't have to live in a state of ignorance for too much longer.
that even tonight, not a single one of the persons who made the presentation was black. Not one. And a system that is 77% black, that ought to concern someone. Suggestion. That ought to concern somebody. And I want to speak now directly to my black brother and my black sister. You represent the people who put you here. I hope, I certainly hope, that even if you don't have the majority vote, that you all will let the people that sent you here know that you are representing their interests, their truth, and their community. I beg you, in the name of all that's right and honest and decent, to think about it. I want to say to the rest of you, I'm not a novice at this. For 25 years, I was director of human relations for the education, and I know, in Toledo, Ohio, I know how important it is for black children to see blacks in positions of authority. But I know something else, Mr. Sherwood, how important it is for white children to see blacks in positions of authority that don't look like them. Black children need to see people in authority that look like them. White children need to see people in authority that don't look like them. Just think about that for a minute. Now, it's my understanding, I want to be clear before I sit down, that when the dismissal is over, final prayer said I am dismissed, then you will answer these questions for all of us. Those are legal that
I will answer to the best of my ability when will it be announced as far as superintendent. That's the question. That's the way I made the comment to you. You can ask me other ones as well, and I may or may not be able to give you an answer. But we will certainly have a conversation anytime, tonight or any other day you'd like to sit down.
Well, we'd love to do it tonight after it's over. If it's
Certainly
okay.
not an issue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time and comments.
Thank you.
And so we waited. We could not hear any of the answers. They definitely was not spoken out loud. We watched as we gonna show you. But the bottom line is that at a public meeting in the state of Georgia, and in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia, it seems as if though our meetings here are much like the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners, wherein they put you in a little area in the corner where it will hold 2 tripods. But if all the news media came and wanted to film the county commissioners meeting, I guess they would have to send them out of the door because they only have 1 rubber band or area for us to record. The Regional South Georgia Library has had at their last meeting a 8-foot long blue line on the floor, 4 feet wide, and an oblong square for the news media and other citizens wanting to record the public meeting at the South Georgia Library. We can only ask, why is it like that? I must say that I believe under our form of government, it seems like we could do much better. But as long as the citizen here can allow the news not to be reported, and we don't ask or we don't try to create a newspaper or a newsletter that will cover meetings like this, I don't know how we could call ourselves a metro city. And of course, as we close this out, we just want you to know that there'll come a time in this life when we should ask ourselves, why are we sending our sons and daughters to fight on foreign lands to protect the rights of others, while our rights and free speech and freedom of the press and a right to know are being lost in the cosmos? Once again, this is George Boston Rhines on behalf of the people. We're going to continue to do what we do because I love this nation too much to see the advances that we have made collectively. Both Democrat, Republican, Independent, and Green Party, both black, white, Japanese, German, Korean, and others, we are all precious in God's sight. I believe that we can do much better, and this is what it is. And ask yourself a question like I was asked today. George, how could the South Georgia news media not say anything that took place at this public meeting? What are they trying to do to our children and coming generations of children? Without information, they all can go into bondage because they simply don't know. What say you, the people of Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and the United States of America? Where's the Georgia Attorney General? What do you have to say about this? Bye-bye, we gone. Just keeping it real in times like these.